All right. ठीक है. So, have we ever heard about Dropbox? इसके बारे में सुने? It's a storage like drive, cloud storage, right? Cloud storage. At least we might have heard about cloud storage, right? So let's start with index.js, and we have heard about something that is called cloud storage. What does this one do? Cloud storage क्या करता है? Cloud storage क्या करता है? So let's say we have a device, right? हमारे पास एक device है, and let's say it has data, right? So if I say that we have a cloud service, and what you can do is you can basically put your data in this cloud, right? So you have your data here. Now this data can be anything from your images to videos to anything. Like you guys use Google Drive, it's something like that. Google Drive so we have all used, right? Right. So it's something like that only. So basically it's cloud storage, right? It's stored somewhere in cloud. So we get like 15 GB for free in Google Drive, and then you can buy more storage and all. But that storage is cloud storage. So basically if you have data and you put it in cloud storage, and let's say ये तो आपका mobile phone था. Let's say you are accessing it on PC. Will you be able to access this data? Will you be able to access it? Right? So you should be able to access this data on PC also, right? So PC, mobile, tablet, anything, right? Let's say this phone is stolen. Tabi, do you lose all of your data if your phone is stolen? Maybe contact and all. No, we have option to store it on cloud, right? So still, if it's stolen, misplaced, or anything, you can still access that data. Right? So can I say कि this is a secure way of storing data? Secure way of storing data. Right? तो उसी तरीके से let's say I have this code, right? And I have written let a equals to 10. I have written let b equals to 20. And let's say कि I'm creating one more file which says index.html. Right? Now this HTML, let's create a basic HTML. So let's say I have a div, right? And this div has a section, right? Or rather, let's say a div, or let's say it just has a button. Tick. So if I go and give this button, let me just name it as div, and this button go. If I go and give it a class, button color, right? And I go and create index.css, not cc, basically css, right? And in here I access that button color, and I keep the background color as red, right? So let's say I'm doing all that import stuff and all, right? So how do we import? Remember, import कैसे करते थे? Link, right? This CSS file in this HTML. Link, right? And then we give the relation, which is style sheet, and then href or src क्या था? Which was it? href, right? And then we were basically accessing our CSS file. So now if I go and run it on live server, I mean, we have done way too much CSS, so we should know okay, this should give our button a background color of red. Yes, no, anything, right? But let's say by mistake I went and delete this file. Let me just keep it upside so that I'm able to see this. I have deleted this file, right? Now is the CSS gonna get messed up? Right? और ये तो हमारा कोड लिखा हुआ था, right? When you go and write codes in organization, it's not going to be this much 15 line, it's going to be at least 2 more zeros after 15. ठीक? And that 2 more zeros after 15 must have like 200 lines of CSS. आपने 200 lines of CSS delete कर दिए. Now this entire web page is gonna look just like very primitive HTML, no CSS, right? So do you think the accidents like this can happen? Right? It can happen very easily. So a platform was created to store all this data on cloud, right? What was that platform called? It was called GitHub, this thing, right? So you can call it Google Drive for your codes. ठीक, तो यहाँ पे जो ड्राइव का कॉन्सेप्ट था ना, now this just gets replaced with GitHub. ठीक, so this gets replaced with GitHub. Now, although you can access this on this device, and let's say it gets deleted from this device, that's also like it's storing the data, but you can even access it on multiple devices. Can you not? Right? हम parallel draw कर रहे हैं ड्राइव से, क्लाउड स्टोरेज से. So yes, you can access it on various multiple devices. ठीक, तो like whenever we talk about GitHub, we talk few like we say like 3 to 4 words in reference to GitHub कि like it can be stored, it can be used as can I say? Let me just type it in here. So it can be used as version control, right? Collaboration and code storage. Tick. So let's start from the end. Code storage. Is it clear how Git is going to store? I mean, I'll show you how it will store, but concept clear है कि Git is going to store your code. जो भी code files है, folders है, your entire stuff. Right? So it's going to store these codes. Given that you guys can access it on multiple devices, do you guys think it's going to open gate towards something that is called collaboration? कोलैबोरेशन का क्या मतलब है? कोलैबोरेशन का मतलब क्या होता है? Collaboration people, what do we mean by collaborate? Okay, making project in group. All right, can I say कि working in group can be called collaboration? मतलब let's say I am here and I ask Santosh and Rohit to be in my team, right? And I ask them to collaborate with me. What would that mean? To help me with something, right? It can be project, it can be playing, it can be anything, right? But in reference of Git, it's gonna be collaborating on a project, right? So what do we actually mean by collaborating on project? Let's say I have this website, right? And I'm gonna give you a brief view of 2 sections, right? So let's say पहला वाला page जो है ना, this one is dashboard, right? Dashboard, we all know about dashboard. Dashboard का मतलब पता है. और the homepage, at least homepage, have we heard about that? Right? And then let's say I have a product page. I mean, you guys can think of product pages, right? In which you can view products. ठीक? So let's say if we are visiting, let's say Flipkart, right? So can I say that this thing is a dashboard? This page is a dashboard or maybe homepage. ठीक? Or you can also call it landing page, जिस पे land कर रहे हैं हम लोग, जो पहली बार उस website को visit करते हो. ठीक? Let's say if I click on electronics and I'm clicking on Bluetooth headphones. So am I visiting the product page? Right? Do you guys see something similar in both pages? Is this navbar stuff which is at the top? Isn't this exactly there also in this? Right? Right? So ये जो navbar है, it's a bit different, but it's also in your product page. It's gonna also be in cart page. It's also gonna be like at most places. So let's say कि if you guys have to create navbar, or then there is this content page, right? So we have some content in homepage and some content in here. So let's say if I distribute this work in 2 people, let's say person 1 will do this, person 2 will do this. If they are collaborating on it and they are doing it on, one person is doing in their PC, other person is doing in their PC. ठीक, मान लो remote work हो रहा है, right? Not in office. would the other person be able to see कि ये वाला बंदा what he is doing, this guy, will he be able to look into it? No, right? So when like the project gets bigger and we have multiple components to draw in it, we need other people to work on same thing. So we basically need to collaborate with others. Us time pe this thing comes in place where you can just store your data one place and others can also access it. ठीक? So this is basically your data collaboration, right? Or project collaboration. One more thing, one more technical term rather, which I have written is called version control. Version control का मतलब पता है? Version control? No? ठीक है. So let's say if I went in here and I created an index.js file और उसमें I wrote let a equals to 20 and I have let me var b equals to 30, right? This code was pre 2000s, right? So now the ES6 was not introduced. We don't know about let and const for now. Take now, if I'm gonna store it, right? Again, code storage is gonna be in place. If I store it on cloud somewhere, and after the ES6 was introduced, I basically updated my code with this, right? So I do this and this. Take so now, am I upgrading the code? Am I upgrading the code? Right? Previous code say I'm modifying my code to a new code. Right? So I'm upgrading my code. But let's say कि if I'm writing this code and this code is deleted, ये delete हो गया. So let's say future में कोई issue आ गया, if I'm doing a plus b and there is some error, I won't be able to figure out here क्योंकि इसके like I'm not sure कि what was the code before this, but let's say कि if we were able to store that original code also, so we would be able to figure it out, right? So it's nothing but you guys can just keep in mind that storing multiple versions of similar code can be called version control, right? So that if you have written new code, matlab you have updated this index.js with this piece of code, but still if you visit that cloud platform, you are able to access this piece of code, na? So you're able to do a version control. Correct. Like mobile OS update. ठीक. So Rahul, let's say कि you have like you have set it. Let's say I'm calling it setup. जैसे मतलब you have your drawer somewhere, you have like your logos somewhere else, right? So if you update your mobile and it's all brand new, सब कुछ एकदम नया नया हो गया, but you are not able to figure out everything and you don't really like that layout. So you have two options. First, you can go back to your original layout or you can't go back to your original layout. Which one will you choose? कौन सा choose करोगे? First one or second one? Right? We all want the option to choose. Option रहना चाहिए. बाकी हमें पसंद है नहीं पसंद है, that's fine. Right? So this thing, this version control stuff gives us option कि we are still storing your previous code. You can go on updating your current code. ठीक? So that thing is basically version control. ठीक है. So if you are able to store it on GitHub, you are able to store your data, you are able to collaborate with other people, and you're able to do a version control on it. ठीक. And how much data can be stored on GitHub? I mean, there is no limit on GitHub like you have in Drive ki 15 GB store hoga and all. It's for now unlimited. ठीक. So you can keep on updating your codes and all. It's not gonna give you any error. ठीक. तो guys, just the basic purpose of GitHub, ये clear है? Why do we need to learn this thing called GitHub at all? Everyone? सबको clear है or just few people? सबको clear है, right? So this is a platform. We have written it a code to access it in our terminal, right? To access it in our terminal, we need something that is called Git. ठीक है? So to be able to access GitHub on our terminal, I need Git. ठीक, अभी क्या है, अभी I have already installed Git in my PC. So if I click in here in this option section, just in the right side of PowerShell, you see I'm seeing few options. So we have PowerShell, we have Git Bash, we have command prompt alone. So I'm going to click on Git Bash, right? So why is it here? Because I have gone and downloaded something that is called Git, right? So you guys can go and write Git download. This is the page. You'll go in here and you can choose either Mac, Windows or Linux. I hope you guys are using these two. Someone is using Linux, they can go for that, right? Click on Windows, go for your byte size. So you can go with 32, 64, that's on you. Go for, I'm not sure, but go for this one, right? Click here to download. You'll download it and you download it and you should be able to see this in here. ठीक, इसमें कोई issue होगा, that's not a problem. Your IE will be able to help. ठीक, but for now we'll be learning about it for version control. और एक बार समझा दीजिए. Okay, so let's say कि you have written some code, right? आपने पहले कुछ code लिखा and then you think you can write that code in better fashion, right? You initially wrote all the JavaScript code in var, right? But आपने सीखा कि var is your global scope, so it's not better. You will be able to access it in loop and your functions and all, right? So what you do is you updated it with let, ठीक? But once you have updated it with let and you have deleted initial code, this one is giving an error. ये कुछ error दे रहा है, right? Now you want to go back to your initial code, ठीक? तो would you like an option to go back to initial code? पिछले वाले कोड पे वापस जाने का एक ऑप्शन रहना चाहिए. You would like that. So that's basically what Git does. It gives you that option. It stores your initial codes also, right? And this overall thing is called version control. You're able to control your all versions of code. Thick, sir, is it same like AWS? Not exactly. It's just for storing code. Thick. AWS is more of a cloud-based storing. You can deploy and all, right? So different, but I mean, if you're trying to draw an analogy, that's fine. How to open in VS Code? Open your terminal, right? We all know how to open integrated terminal. Everyone, यहाँ तक तो पता है, right? So you basically open your PowerShell, right? Now, if you click on this plus or this drop down, right, you'll see this Git Bash option. You'll not be able to open it for now if you don't have this Git installed. But once you have installed it, you should be able to watch it here. Okay, you can do it later after this lecture. That's fine, totally fine. Okay, people. So let's say I have written a code for Flipkart, right? So let's go back in here. I have created two different folders. ये folder 1 है and this one is folder 2, right? And I have stored this as folder 1 and this as folder 2. Now folder 1 is written for Flipkart, right? Just remember it. And folder 2 is written for Amazon. Thick. Now, if you want to store them on GitHub, do you want both of these codes to be stored in same directory or folder in GitHub? What I mean to say is, let's say I visit Google Drive, right? Here are Google Drive. Now, if I go in here and if I click on new and I click folder, right? So am I going to create folder? It's updating folder. Let me create folder actually. So new folder, right? And let's name it cap testing, right? So in this folder, let's say if I open this folder and I'm storing both of my, let me just create these files. So new folder, I have my Flipkart folder here, and also I have my Amazon folder in that, right? Do I want all of my code in same place, or do I want different folders for each different code? What would be better? Let's say I have this. So would it be better to create new folder for Amazon? right? Different, so that everything is segregated, everything is easily accessible. ठीक, तो उसी तरीके से we are able to create multiple different folders on GitHub, but they are called repositories. So I'll type it in here so that you guys have like 4 sort of notes for you guys. So I can write as repository, right? Again, it's more of a technical term. This is nothing but a folder structure in GitHub. Right? So if I call something a repository, it's a folder structure in GitHub for, let's say, similar kind of, what can I say, codes. Right? So if I say I have a Flipkart repo, I mean, this repository is also called a repo. So you might heard this repo. Okay? So if I say I have a Flipkart repo, do you expect Amazon code in that? No. Right? उसी तरीके से we can let me show you how we can create these repos, right? So this is GitHub, guys. This is actually my GitHub. What I can do is, can you guys see this? I think it's green, right? So can you guys see this logo? Everyone, new is written over it. This one. So if I click on it, no, I'm basically getting an option to create a new repository, or you guys can think of it as create a new folder. Right? So let's say it also gives a basic definition. So a repository contains all project files, and these all, I mean, not terribly important. Basically, you guys can think of it as a folder, right? Now in here, I'll have to choose a owner, right? So I am associated with Masai's platform. So I have done like code work for them. So either I can go for the organization or I can go for self. For now, we are gonna go for self, right? I'm gonna go with this. This is basically my GitHub user ID. Take, and then you can create or write a repository name. Take, so again, this can be read as folder name. Take, so let's say if I have a cap folder in here, and if I go and create a new folder, and I'm gonna again name it cap, do you guys think my PC is gonna let that happen? Yes, no, anything? Okay, so let's say if I create a folder in here, right? यहाँ पे let's create a folder that's called cat. Take, and let's go and try to create one more folder that's called cap. Is it giving me an error? What's that error? File and folder or folder already exists. Take, so if that thing is pre-existing, we are not able to name it that. Take, so similar thing happens with repository. You can't rename multiple repositories same names. Take, so names should be unique. So let's say I'm just naming it cap07. It's a code. So of course it's going to be unique, right? For each patch. And I'm giving it a description of intro to Git and GitHub, right? Now I have an option in here which says public and private. Any idea what might this mean, public or private? Okay, so if you keep it public, others would be able to see your code. ठीक, they will be able to see your progress, what you're doing and all. So going forward, जितने दिन आप लोग मसाई में हो, you're gonna keep your repos public, right? So that we are able to access your repo. ठीक, and if you want to work on your separate projects, which you don't want others to know about for now, you can go for private, right? I'll be going with a public. Then there is this option which says add a readme file. So if I check this, let me just zoom this a bit out so that I'll show you one more thing. If I uncheck it, you'll see there will be some change here, right? So if I click on it, add a readme file, it's saying this will set main branch as default branch. We'll be talk about that shortly, but add a readme file. Have you ever heard about readme file? readme file के बारे में पढ़ा है? What why is it there? What's the purpose of readme file? like description or sort of info. Correct. Nicely placed. Tutorial to install. Okay. So it's basically a basic description of something, right? So it can be a basic description. It can be a full-fledged documentation. Take. So let's have a documentation in our file, and you'll go and click on create repo. For now, you don't have to go for license and all. Ye baat ki baat hai when you're working on organization level. For now, these things don't matter to us. Take. So all you have to think about is creating a new repo by click karna hai. You add a you add a repo name, you add a description, you select the option that you want, public or private, and add a readme file, right? And you click on create a repository. Take. Now this is gonna create us a nice little repository by the name of capsule. Take. And we have a readme.md file in it. Now I have created a folder, right? Everyone, like I did on Amazon, this cap testing. But should I be able to access it on my mobile phone also? Then only cloud ka koi purpose hoga. I should be able to access it on my device. What do you guys think? Right. So accessing or in device needs to click on this code button. You can see this one, right? This green one again. Everyone, this code button, right? So if I click on it, no, I'll get this HTTP. Basically, I will get the link to my repo. What I'll do is I'll copy this and I'll go to my VS Code. Abhi in VS Code, I have opened my bash, right? Or Git. Check. And I want to copy this entire whatever I have done in this cap7 directory folder. I want that to be copied inside this cap. Take. So what I'll do is I'll do cd and I'll visit. I'm currently in Git file, right? So I'll go in my cap. Everyone remember how can we visit different directories? Itna yaad hai? And you'll write a command in here, right? Which is called git clone and the URL that you want. So to copy the folder or rather repo from GitHub, you go for a command which says git clone, and I'm just writing it in here, your link. Thick, or rather your repo link. Thick. Now if I click on enter na, you will see it says cloning into cap7, right? What does cloning mean, people? Cloning का मतलब क्या होता है, guys? Clone मतलब क्या होता है? किसी चीज का clone बनाना. Second copy, right? Duplicate करना, copy करना. Correct. So basically cloning is nothing but copying, right? So you're basically copying that file. Now in this readme, if I click on this, what's written? Intro to Git in GitHub. Now if I go to my VS Code and if I click on this readme, can you guys see I'm getting intro to Git and GitHub? Thick. So I have basically accessed this code in my PC, right? You guys can even access it in your PC and all. Okay, guys. So how can we access that? Is that clear? Access karna. Everyone, we have to write git clone and that URL. Okay. Now let's say, access is not enough. Let's say I want to update it. I want to create my own files in this. I should be able to do that, no? We talked about collaboration. So if others are able to download my files, they should be able to collaborate on it, right? If I have created my homepage, they should be able to create the product page, right? So what I'll do is I'll go and I'll basically add one more file. Let's call it, what can I call it? Product.js. I'm going to call it product.js, right? And I have a nice little product array in here, product array, which is an array of object and it has name. So mobile, and it has price, let's have a range, right? Which is, let's say 30, right? Just anything. Take a dummy code hai. And let's say if I copy this and I'm just pasting it in here, right? I'm just naming it as TV. Take now, if I want to access this TV name, what can I write? Console me. What can I go and write in console.log? I have to access just this name which says TV. Of course, I'm gonna get an error. So let me quickly make them as strings. Guys, purana question hai, how can we access this TV? Everyone. Correct. Correct. So I'll be first basically accessing this object. How can I access that particular object only? I'll write product array and I'll write one. Can I access this object now? And object के अंदर key को कैसे access करते हैं? By writing a dot notation or a square notation, right? Let's go with dot and I'm gonna write that key's name. Thick. So I should be able to access my product, right? If I go on PowerShell and if I do a cd cap, right? And in this, let's clear it. Let me do cd. I'm not sure if I'm the ticket. And in this, I'll do product and I'm getting that TV. Thick. So now I have updated some code in this GitHub, right? So if I go, I should be able to get that code, right? So let's go to this. Are we updating any file? Have we added any new file, product array file? No? Can you guys think of a reason? कोई reason हो सकता है? मतलब जब हमें copy करना था, all we did was wrote a code. Basically, it was git clone URL. So do we need to write a code to send this code in our drive? Instruction तो देने पड़ेंगे, right? Right? So let's give it an instruction. So instruction are basically in set of some commands. Let me first write it. The first thing is what I'll do is I'll write git status. Take. So basically I'm just trying to check the status of my files. Take quick thing in here. Can you guys see this U? Everyone, U दिख रहा है? ठीक, अभी देखना, अभी readme.md में हमने जिस तरीके से इस फाइल को इंपोर्ट किया था यानी लिया था, ये उसी कंडीशन में है, intro to git and github. So if I go and update something in it, no? So let's say updated, we'll see a M out there. M दिख रहा है, right? So if you like look at the end of this, can you guys see that modified? मतलब जब इस पे click कर रहा हूँ, when I'm hovering over it, you see a like point out, right? उसमें in the end, can you guys see the modified? Right. So there are few terms. Let me quickly note them down for you. So if like you see a capital U, it basically means untraced, right? Untraced का मतलब क्या हो सकता है? It basically means कि आपके original repo में ना ये फाइल था ही नहीं. You have added it new, untracked, my bad. ठीक, it's not tracked, it's untracked. But if you see M basically means that file or folder was there, you have modified it. ठीक है, तो अभी देखना, when I click on this git status, no, I'm getting an error, and that error is because I'm not in cap 7. So let's go there and write git status. Right, first let me write a clear in here, and let's write git status. Okay. So let's read it line by line real quick. This says on branch main, your branch is up to date with original slash main. Changes not staged for commit, and it basically shows me few things. I have a modified change. It basically shows me in red color, readme.md. So yes, we have modified it, and I have a untracked file which basically says product.js. So yes, I have added one product in here. Right? So if you write git status, you'll get a status of your current folder कि उसमें क्या क्या you have modified or you have added. ठीक? Now to fix this or to update this, we have to understand few terms which are thrown in here, which is basically branch main all this, right? So let's go back and let me show you guys one thing. Can you guys see this section, everyone, which basically says branch, this one, right? How many branches do you think it has? One, right? One इसके आगे लिखा है. So if I click on this, I only have a single branch which is called main, right? So we talked about other people collaborating on my code. Have we talked about that? Right? So if you create a repo, that repo will be called main/master. Right? So जो very first time repo create होता है ना, it creates a branch which is called main master. Right? So you have seen trees, right? Trees में branches होते हैं, everyone. Trees has branches. Right? So it starts from a root, right? So this file can be considered a root. इसके बाद let's say, let me check the chat. I have Rohit and I have Praveen. They both are working on my code, right? So they're gonna create their own branch. वो लोग मेरा branch नहीं छेड़ेंगे. They're gonna create their own branch and they will work on their own branch. ठीक? And once they have completed it, they will let me know कि yes, we have updated my code in like their code in branch. Now I can send it in our original code. So we'll sit together and we'll send it in our main branch. ठीक? But branch का concept clear है कि why do we need branches? Is that clear? Right? The different people, they're gonna create their own branches and they're gonna work on their own branches. That's the way. Take the purpose of branch, is that clear? Everyone, why do we need branches? I'll show you how we can create branches and all, but for now, once again, all right. So when you create a repo, right, you create a single branch in it, which is called main, or you might or will hear master, right? So these are terms that have been used with main or master branch. Right now, I have created my code, right? And I'm your mentor. You guys are my students, and you are gonna write some code, right? Of course, you're gonna write a code from your level, right? So does it make sense कि आप directly जाके कोई product का folder है, right? So let's say you are a product manager in Flipkart, right? You have written some level of code and you've just recently hired a fresher SDE1. Will he be able to write your level of code at starting? No, right? They'll need some experience. थोड़ा सा आपके अंदर they need some mentorship. So what you will do is, you'll say them, create your own branch, do your updates in there, get it checked by me, मेरे से review कराओ. If it's good to go, then I'll take your code and I'll put it in my code. Makes sense? ठीक? So that's only branches, right? So let's say multiple people are working on it. You can create multiple different branches and you can put your code in that branch, and finally you will add everything in your main branch, right? So for now we have deployed our resumes and all. Remember, we have deployed our resumes. ठीक? So I gave you guys an instruction that there should be one file with one specific name. What was that? बिना उसके you won't be able to deploy it. Index file बोला था, index file, right? It should be there. So this main branch is something like that. It should always be clean, right? इसमें you should not be updating new code. You have to have discussion with your team, and then आप finally जब discuss हो जाए, yes, this is the final code, you will put it in your main branch. So there is a saying in coding world that main branch should always be deployable, right? Main branch कभी भी ना deploy करने लायक होना चाहिए. ठीक है? So if you're doing some changes, of course you're gonna go and you're gonna create some branches. कैसे बनाते हैं? I'll show you shortly. ठीक? But first thing first, जहां से हमने start किया था, we created or added some things and we were not able to send it in our file. अभी के लिए हम main branch में ही push करेंगे. So I did was I wrote git status. Git status is gonna give you a basic status of your current code. क्या क्या आपने नया add किया है. you are gonna write something that is called, again, let me just quickly keep, okay, you guys can see this bottom, right, everyone? I hope. यहाँ पे bottom. ठीक है. So if I write git add, now this thing is gonna track and add everything in our git. ठीक? So you have to write basically git add space or dot. Now this dot means कि you want to add every change that you have done. ठीक है? So now if I press enter, it's gonna, for now it's not gonna do anything, but let's say if I do git status again, अभी देखना, is there any change? This modified and new file, which were in red, now they are in green. Right? So they have been basically staged. Right? Staged का मतलब क्या होता है? They are ready to be sent. Send करने के लिए they are all ready, they are all packed up. ठीक? And before sending, do you guys think कि if I'm creating some feature in my file, let's say in this product.js file, I added a array, right? So if I give it an idea, yes, Jyoti. So dot used to add all file, right? Let's say if you want to just add one file, you don't want the changes that happened in readme.md, you can go and type that file's name. ठीक है? It's gonna change just that file. उसको ही update करेगा, right? For now, let's go with overall. तो इसके लिए we're gonna go with dot. Now, I have already written git add. What I'll do is I'll write git commit and I'm gonna write -m, and in here, in these two strings, you can write the description of your code. So let's say I'm gonna write have added an product array, right? So now let's say if I send my code, for now, it's not gonna show here. Let me just quickly show this. So if I do enter, no, it's gonna write something that says 2 files changed, 5 insertion made, and create mode something this. So basically, let me just debug it from a bullshit to your normal language. It says 2 file में change हुआ है, right? And there has been 5 new, I guess, lines of code that has been written. And you have created one file that is product.js. ठीक, again, it's just listing कि कौन कौन सा product is ready to be sent to your GitHub. ठीक, तो when you write git commit -m, you are basically adding a message in it. And finally, you'll write git push. ठीक, this push is gonna push your code from PC to your cloud or basically GitHub. For now, I'm gonna write this git push origin main, right? तो origin is gonna refer to my directory and main कहाँ पे देखा था हमने? Where is main gonna refer us to? The branch, right? तो for now, मतलब मेरा ही code है, तो I'm gonna push it in main branch. Let's say if someone else is handling, they're gonna create their own branch and they're gonna push it in their branch, right? So there are 2 terms that you guys are gonna hear. That is push and pull. ठीक, so push का basically मतलब होता है system to cloud, right? Or basically PC to GitHub. ठीक, whereas pull is just gonna be opposite, everyone, right? So you guys tell me what's it gonna be? We have pushed, and if we're gonna pull, that's just opposite. What's it gonna be? Cloud to system, right? So basically cloud to system or GitHub to PC. Okay, so for now, let's push it. If I do a push, yeah. So again, I have this message. It basically says it's compressing it all. And finally, what it means is it has sent my data. उसने भेज दिया सारे data को GitHub पे. Now, if I go on GitHub and if I do a quick refresh in here, can you guys see that the commit that we wrote, have added and product array, that has been updated. And we can see our product.js too. Right? And if I click on this file, I will be able to access the code that I have written. Take, and if I go on readme.md, I have added commit. Take it. So, wait. We did updated our readme.md. Okay, for now, I think I wrote add and that readme, so that might be an issue. कोई नहीं. But let's quickly refresh it. ठीक है. So we're gonna add that entire thing git add के बाद dot. But we have added our new file in here. ठीक, तो इतना क्लियर है कि हाउ कैन यू पुश योर PC's code, new files, maybe you can create new folders and all, and how you can push from your PC to GitHub. Everyone, इतना क्लियर है? .md is basically a markdown file. For now, just keep in mind कि if you wanna write description or maybe what can I say, documentation, you go for MD file. These are markdown files. If we get time, I'll give you a bit basic about this thing, right, in the lecture if we get time later. ठीक है. So guys, is it clear कि how you can get this code from this GitHub to PC, and how you can send this code from PC to GitHub? So let me quickly summarize it for you guys. So to get code from Git to PC, what we have to do is we have to basically write git clone, and we have to provide a repo link. Everyone, right? If you want it from GitHub to PC, right? And if we want to send it from pull Sheikh, थोड़ी देर में समझाता हूँ, ठीक है? I'll have Huzaifa in here and he'll help us with that. ठीक, so I'll need someone to help me with that. So Huzaifa will come shortly. And like for Git to PC, we can go with the git clone repo link. And if you want to send it from PC to Git, you have to write few lines of code. Let's name it. First thing first, you're gonna write git add and dot, right? ये क्या करेगा? It's gonna basically stage your changes, right? So we'll talk about stage की stage का मतलब क्या होता है. For now, it's gonna stage your changes, or basically you can say it's gonna list the changes made. ठीक, in simple layman language. ठीक, तो you did a git add. उसके बाद remember हमने एक description add किया था, right? So what I'll do is I'll go and I'll write git commit, right? Now यहाँ तक भी that's enough. You can go for git commit, that's fine. But this dash m means कि you wanna give this commit a message, right? Dash m. So that message is placed inside this quotes, or basically a string, and you can give your description, right? So you give your description to that commit. Take, and then finally final code क्या था? To send it to your cloud, git push. ठीक, and for now हम अकेले काम कर रहे हैं. You will be working collaborating in construct week, so that's gonna be in like next to next week. For now अभी के लिए we're gonna just work with our self code. So we'll be pushing origin and we're gonna push it in our main branch. So we have gone through these few cases. We have learned one more. Yes, let's say we can call it 1.5. It's nothing but it basically gives you a status, right? So if you want a status key, what has been modified, what has been added, what has been untracked, kya kya hua, so you can get a list of that by writing a git status. Clear? Guys, so is it clear how we can get code from Git to PC and how we can send it from PC to Git? Okay, so let's say if I go and I write one folder, not this one, let's create it in here. So if I create it in here and let's call it navbar, right? And in this navbar, I'm creating index.html, right? And in here, I'm just gonna create this. Take. So abhi, now this is some change that I have made in my PC. PC में किया है. Should I send it to my GitHub? Right? So what's the very first step for that? First thing first, if you want to check what all changes that you have made, you can write a git status, right? ये कुछ नहीं करता, it just gives you a brief कि आपने क्या क्या change किया है. So it gives me untracked files and it's gonna say we have a navbar directory. ठीक. It's gonna be practical work. ठीक. You're gonna commit daily. अभी से assignment is gonna be on GitHub. So you're gonna write git एक बार आपने, let's say you have created a file and उसमें you have added this, so you'll check what have you created. You'll write a git add, right? With a dot, it's gonna add every file and you're gonna do a git commit -m, right? So you need to give it a message, let's say created navbar, and finally you'll do git, what was the last command? Git push origin main. Take, so I'm gonna do git push origin main, and this is gonna send my files to GitHub. So if I go and give it a quick refresh again, you guys can see I have added that navbar folder, and us navbar folder mein I have added that index.html file. Clear everyone? Clear? Tick. So let me see if Zafa is here. Okay, so I'll call him, but do one thing, have a break of 4-5 minutes. Take. So एक और बार बता दीजिए. I'll be telling you guys, just give me a few seconds. Take. So एक बार Josefa, he shows how to like send data, and I'll be creating pull request and I'll revise you guys this entire stuff. Take. It seems complicated. Trust me, last May it's gonna be nothing but 6 lines of code. That's all. Okay, and that too you guys are gonna remind. Okay, so have a break or go for a 4-minute break and get back everyone at 6. Okay, sure. All right, guys, everyone back. Everyone back. All right. Okay. So I guess Huzafa is busy. So okay. Let's quickly do a quick recap of जो भी पढ़ा हमने. ठीक. So let's do it in a diagram format so that I guess if you guys are facing issue, it should resolve it. ठीक. So it usually does. That's why I'm trying it. ठीक है. So let's say someone send their code in GitHub which says let a equals to 10. ठीक. So just assume that this code is on GitHub. Right now you have your setup. ठीक. आपके पास अपना setup है and you want this thing from GitHub to your PC. So what's the process that does this GitHub to PC? What's it called? Process को क्या बोलते हैं? Cloning, pull cloning. Okay, correct. So you can either call it cloning or you can call it pull, right? Let's say कि you are going with cloning, right? You are just getting that folder file, you're adding that repository very first time. तो जब very first time करोगे ना तो you're gonna call it cloning. But let's say कि if you are getting that second time, right? किसी ने update दूसरी बार किया तब you're gonna call it pull. For now, just keep in mind कि it's gonna be called cloning. ठीक. तो you want this code from your PC, you're gonna go for cloning. What's the code for that? Clone करने के लिए do we write git clone and that URL? यही था. Everyone guys please write yes or one so that I'll know कि सब कोई same page पे मेरे साथ. Everyone. ठीक है. So now once this git clone is done, I should be able to get that let a equals to 10 in my PC too. मेरे PC में भी आ जाएगा. Right? ठीक है. Now let's say if I'm adding one more code in it, I'm doing let b equals to 20. Am I modifying this file? Modifying this file, right? So now let's say this file has m or modified in it. ठीक. अभी once it's modified, should I send it back to GitHub? GitHub पे फिर से भेजना चाहिए, right? So before sending it back to GitHub, there is something that happens, which if you guys remember, I told you that there is something that's called staging happens, right? And what was the code to do this thing? Staging करने के लिए, that was your git add, right? So अभी बताता हूँ basically करता क्या है. So you write git add, remember git add everyone, right? This git add leads to something that is called staging. Staging क्या करता है? It just extracts जो नए नए changes हैं. So it's gonna get something like this. Is this the only thing that has been changed from initial file? Right? तो do you think कि बस इतना ही हमें modify करना चाहिए या फिर से पूरा का पूरा stuff a equals to 10 उठाऊंगा and I'll send this entire thing into this, तो अभी दो a equals to 10 हो जाएंगे. ऐसा करना चाहिए? नहीं, right? Only जो change किया है, तो that's why we're just gonna do that. This thing is basically staging. जो भी changes है ना उसको ready करना. Now if you want to check कि if चीजें stage हुई है कि नहीं हुई है, you can write a code that is called git status, right? This code is irrespective of push हो रहा है, pull हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, it's just there to check. बस check करने के लिए कि हुआ है stage या नहीं हुआ है. That's all. उसका नाम ही है status. What's the status? ठीक. It does not has any effect in your entire sending or receiving data. ठीक. बस status check करने के लिए. All right. So once we have done git add, what I'll do is I'll basically push it to my this folder. Right. तो push करने का क्या code था? It was git push branch name. For now we are just gonna push it in origin main. Right. But हमने कुछ change किया है. Should we name that change? उस change को एक name देना चाहिए so that we know कि what change was that. Right? So remember we did git commit and you can go for this, but you need to add a message in here. तो your message here. ठीक, तो बस यही एक ब्रीफ ओवरव्यू है वो 6-7 लाइंस ऑफ कोड जो हमने लिखा ना उसके लिए. सो यू स्टार्ट विद गिटहब. उसमें लेट्स से कि लेट a equals to 10 नाम का एक कोड है. यू क्लोन इट एंड यू गेट इट इन योर पीसी and you have modified it with a new variable that says let p equals to 20. Right now you want to send it on GitHub, right? So you write a code that says git add dot tick, and what it does is it basically stages the changes or segregates the change so that it does not get repeated in your GitHub. ठीक, तो उसने चेंज को निकाल लिया and you basically add a message to it and you push it. अभी क्लियर है? अभी क्लियर है how you get data from GitHub to PC and how you send data from PC to GitHub. ठीक, ठीक है. तो Huzefa is also there with us. Git commit is just an added description for modified changes. Yeah, you can add description, but basically it lists जो भी changes है, right? तो staging is, let's say कि it's ready for, let's say you are loading trucks, right? तो once you are loading the truck, you are basically staging it. But एक बार आपने you have created a list, no, कि we have these items in this truck, right? So you can say कि that process is committing. And finally, sending the truck to its destination is going to be pushing that truck. Tick. All right. So, yeah, Huzefa is again with us. Hi, Huzefa. Just give me a second. I'll make you co-host. Right. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, Ritesh.
Yes. So we basically, I want to show how they can collaborate on a single project, right? So I have created a main branch. I can share you this file and you can create one more branch and show them how they can push that data, right?
Sure.
All right. So guys, let's say you guys, 2 or 3 people are gonna work together, right? So what you'll have to do is let's say I'm on this repo, right? Cap7. You'll need to send invites to your friends. So let's say I'm going on settings and I'll go on collaborators, right? Again, the step settings and then you can see collaborators PP, right? So मैं collaborators पे click करूंगा and it's gonna ask me a passkey. For now, I'll just fill it and in here, right? So here's this manage access session. We haven't invited any collaborators. So we just created this repository. अभी इसमें हमने खुद ही कोई collaborator add नहीं किया. Yes, Devang, almost correct. Take what I'll do is I'll click on add people. Can you send me your username, Josefa?
So my username is therefore 621.
621. This one, right? So you
Yes.
see, I have added Josefa. What I'll do is I'll basically send him an invite, right? So I'm writing add Josefa to this repository, and I have basically sent an invite to him, right? Josefa, can you share them and show them how they can accept that invite now?
Sure, Ritesh.
All right, right. So yeah, Josefa will share his screen and will show you guys.
Please confirm is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
So it's done.
So he has accepted my invitation. Now he will be able to see my repository, right? Now all his FI has to do is he'll click on that code, he'll get that URL and he'll clone it, right? So Josefa, can you quickly clone this repo?
Sure.
Yeah. So again, that steps that we did, people, right? Josefa will clone it and he will update it and he'll give it some ID, right? All right. So Josefa did all this in command prompt. ठीक, so we can do there or you can do in your PowerShell or here also, right? Git bash. ठीक है. So Josefa, just add one file and you can show them how to push it.
ठीक है. So I need to create another branch.
हाँ.
ठीक है. So here I'm creating a branch named Josefa.
ठीक. अच्छा, one more thing, Josefa, sorry. So if you saw that initially that repo had only one branch, right? ठीक. Let's say if there is another branch named Josefa, right? So he won't be able to create again that same named branch. अभी क्या कर रहा है Josefa? He is creating a new branch by writing git branch Josefa. ठीक. ठीक है. तो Josefa, can you do a quick list? So git branch ls list. So you will see the list of branches. I guess you'll
Is
have
it
to do
this?
it. Yeah. So you can see how many like branches we have now. हमने एक बार गेट ब्रांच हुजैफा लिखा है, एक बार गेट ब्रांच लिस्ट लिखा. ठीक. तो हमारे पास दो नए ब्रांचेस बन गए. वी हैव टू न्यू ब्रांचेस. मेन वाज इनिशियली वी हैव लिस्ट एंड हुजैफा. Currently, can you guys guess which branch are we on? Star किसके आगे है? Everyone, where's that asterisk? Main, right? That's why we are on main branch, right? Now Josefa will go to Josefa branch, right? Josefa अपने branch पे जाओ एक बार. ठीक. एक और बार लिस्ट करो प्लीज. Yes, correct, Devang. ठीक. Now can you guys guess which branch Josefa is on? Correct. ठीक है. तो now he'll do changes in this branch. ठीक है Josefa, एक फाइल ऐड कर दो छोटा सा कुछ भी.
So here I have created this file in which I'm just writing hello world. Okay. So shall I add it?
Yeah. So again, that three steps that we decided: git add, git commit -m with a message, and a git push. That's all. ठीक. That branch name and it's done. ठीक. एक बार इनको उस पे ब्राउजर पे जाके एक बार रिफ्रेश करके दिखा दो.
So here they can see I have this branch.
ठीक. So now he has created a branch. ठीक. But अभी के लिए वो branch जो है it's not sent into our main branch, right? अलग से है वो. So what Josefa will do is, you can see there is an option for compare and pull request, right? So he'll click on that, and he'll add a title or maybe a description.
Merging with
Right?
branch.
ठीक है. एक सेकंड. Okay, that's fine. एक बार थोड़ा सा ऊपर आओ. You can see in the right hand side there is an option for reviewers, right? So you can add your peers for reviewer. For now, don't add anything. अभी के लिए you can just send it.
ठीक है. Shall I do?
Yeah. ठीक है. तो now what happened is he has sent his code from उनके branch to our main branch. ठीक. Okay, that's all, Josefa. Thanks, man. Now I'll show them.
I think I need to merge it as well. No?
Yeah, merge it.
Okay.
ठीक है. Just give me a second. I'll confirm if I can see it or not. ठीक है. It's visible. All right. So yeah, thanks, Josefa. If you want, you can drop off.
Okay.
All right. ठीक है. So let's get back to our file. ठीक. So now what Josefa did was he sent some new files from their PC to our GitHub. ठीक. And then we saw two things which were namely, let me just zoom it out a bit. So mainly merge, right? We saw pull and merge, right? Now what does merge means? Let's say I have branches, right? मेरे पास branches है. Let's say I have branch 1 and एक branch है जो कि है main, right? I want the data of branch 1 to be in branch main. So what I'll do is I'll merge these two branches. Merge का मतलब समझते हैं everyone? What does merge means? Combine. Correct. Correct. So I'm gonna combine these two branches in our main branch. Take. So that's what he did. He basically created a branch, take, and then he clicked on merge branch. So now if I go and see my main, right, main branch, I'm seeing that he has merged his code. Okay, unka script.js, I can also see it. Right? That's hello world. All right. ठीक है, I can see it on GitHub. But if I go on my folder and if I try to access it, is there, I mean, this one is cap7, right? So am I able to see any files which says script.js? No, right? So now again, we have to get it from GitHub to PC. What was the code again? Git clone, right? अब यहाँ पे वो फर्स्ट और सेकंड टाइम वाला कॉन्सेप्ट समझाता हूँ, ठीक? तो when we cloned this repo very first time, हमारे पीसी में अभी तक we did not had that directory. I wanted for very first time, I'm gonna do git clone, ठीक? But let's say someone else has updated that and I want that update to showcase in my folder. What I'll do is I'll basically write git pull. Take, and now it's going to show me whatever data that has been new updated in it, right? So you can see there has been these branches, there has been these files, script files that has been changed, and we can see that script file in our GitHub too. Take everyone, right? So let's do a quick recap of all the commands that we have learned so far. ठीक, एंड फॉर नाउ वी आर जस्ट गोना कीप इट दैट वे ओनली, उतने ही रखेंगे, उससे ज्यादा नहीं रखेंगे, ठीक? तो हियर इज द क्वेश्चन. क्वेश्चन 1, you have a URL, right? Again, it's called URL only, capital URL, and you have to get that repo in your system for first time. What's the answer for this, people? What's the command? What's the answer for this? First time, very first time. Correct? Correct. So the answer is git clone and that certain URL. Take. All right. All right. Second question. Q2. Basically, you have to get the changes in GitHub's repo in your system, right? So what's the code now? Again, you have to get the code from GitHub to system, but second time, after first time, you have to get the changes in GitHub repo in your system, right? So Josefa made some changes and I was getting it in my system. What was it? What was it? Git repo to system, not system to git repo. Git repo से system में ले रहे हैं. Git pull, right? A single command that says git pull. Tick, that's fine. Now let's talk about sending our data from system to our GitHub. Tick. So now this is gonna be we have 3 steps, right? The first step was staging the changes. So command to stage the changes or basically segregate, अलग करना जितने भी changes हमने किए. What was that? Everyone? Correct. तो segregating the changes को बस अलग करना was the work of git add with a space and a dot, right? now this thing can have variation. Let's say you just want to stage the changes of एक file, so you can just do product.js. ठीक, it's not gonna update other files, बस उतने करेगा. But if you want every change to be there, you will go with add and a dot. Clear है? Clear है? Let me add if you want to update individual files. इतना clear है सबको? If we do git clone URL for second time, will it work? Santosh, it will work, but here's what's gonna happen. Let's say you are gonna clone it in cap7. So it's gonna create one more folder which will say cap7 and it's gonna have entire thing again, right? So you're not updating the data, you are recreating that data. Take, so it's not gonna have any repercussion except for it's gonna fill up your memory. ठीक, अभी के लिए this is what 1 MB 2 MB of changes, right? Trust me, in construct में जब आप लिखोगे ना अपने फाइल के कोड in next 2 weeks when we are gonna learn DOM, एक साथ you'll be creating those data ना, those files are gonna be at least 200 300 MB, right? And जब framework I guess I'm not when you learn framework, right, React and all, so then the files are gonna go 600 700 MB, right? So you don't want multiple of those files again in your PC, right? You just have to update it. Take, all right, back to what we were doing, staging the changes. We are going to do git add, right? And stage ke baad, let's say what I can say, listing the changes with a message. What was the command for this? Git commit -m, right? So git commit -m and the message, right? And then finally, question 5, finally pushing the code. What was that? The final command to push the code? Git push origin, right? And basically your branch name, right? But for few weeks only main. ठीक, समझ जाओगे by this thing? अभी के लिए up until construct week it's gonna be main. ठीक है everyone, right? So again, if you have to clone your repo, first code is git clone and that certain URL. If you have made some changes and you have to send it on your GitHub, again, remember we just have to write 3 pieces of code, right? First is git add, second one is git commit. If you want a message, you can write -m and message, and final one is git push. That's all. Itna yaad rakhoge, that's enough. Right? Origin, I mean, it basically refers to your original this directory. Right? जैसे हम this लिखते थे ना parent object के लिए, उसी तरीके से origin basically refers to that parent repository. ठीक? Right? इतना clear है? Everyone? Any doubts in here? Right? Let's say someone has made change. All we have to do is write a simple code that says git pull. Take any doubts till now, people? If you feel like there is no need for description or modified change, yeah, but don't add this -m. This means that you want to add a message. So if you're going with this, that's fine. It should work. Right? But it is recommended, highly recommended actually, to add a message. Correct? Fine, Santosh? All right. Guys, any doubts till now? डायरेक्ट VS कोड में फोल्डर बनाया, वही तो बनाया ना, डायरेक्ट VS फोल्डर, VS क्या बोल रहा हूँ मैं, VS फोल्डर बोल रहा हूँ, VS कोड में मैंने फोल्डर बनाया था ना nav बार. ठीक, फॉर नाउ शेक फॉर नाउ एक काम करो, अभी के लिए यहीं पे बनाओ रेपो, ठीक है, इट्स पॉसिबल बट अभी के लिए थोड़ा ज्यादा हो जाएगा, राइट। ऑलराइट देवांग, देखो व्हेन यू आर गेटिंग दिस फोल्डर फॉर वेरी फर्स्ट टाइम, यू राइट गिट क्लोन यूआरएल, ठीक, एक बार यू हैव दिस फोल्डर, ऑल यू नीड इज गेट दैट चेंजेस, यू आर गोना राइट गिट पुल। तो बस इतना याद रखो, जब पहली बार यू वांट दैट रेपो फर्स्ट टाइम, you go for git clone URL, and after first time you can go with git pull. Clear है? Yes, Ritesh, yes, right, देखा मैंने जब git pull किया, I was able to get this script.js, right, I did not had to do git clone URL and all, ठीक है everyone, right? So let's discuss about that branch thing that Josefa was doing. उसको डिस्कस करें क्या, और इज दिस एनफ, इतना काफी है, दो तीन लाइन है, ठीक है, चलो उसके बारे में बात करते हैं। So let's say you want to create a branch, आपको एक branch बनाना है new, तो what you can do is you can go and write branch, and you can go and write that branch name, right, branch name. Again, as we talked about our repo name, so should branch name be unique? दो लाइन ऑफ कोड है, ज्यादा नहीं है, दो लाइन्स ऑफ कोड है बस, ठीक, तो अगेन ब्रांच नेम इज गोना बी यूनिक, यूर गोना राइट गेट ब्रांच, एंड लेट्स से यू वांट टू सी कि आपके रेपो में कितने ब्रांचेस है, व्हाट यू विल डू इज यू विल डू गेट ब्रांच हाइफन हाइफन लिस्ट, आई कैन डू इट हियर आल्सो। सो अभी हम कौन से ब्रांच पे, फॉर नाउ आर वी इन द मेन ब्रांच, राइट, सो इफ आई डू गेट branch and hyphen hyphen list, it's gonna list me the branches that we have, right? For now it's main branch, let's say I'm creating a branch for myself, right, मैं अपने कुछ branch बनाता हूँ, so let's say uh, mm, Pradesh 2, right, so if I do git branch dash dash list, now I should be able to see my branches, ठीक, तो आपके ब्रांच यू कैन सी योरसेल्फ, right, and these two तो हो गए, if you want to create branch you just gonna go this way, if you want to list the branch you're gonna go this way, and let's say you want to visit your branch, what we'll do is we'll do get we'll do git checkout, right, and that branch name, so let's say I'm writing Ritesh 2, I'm switching to Ritesh 2, and you guys can see कि main के बजाय I'm in Ritesh 2, ठीक, तो if I do get branch dash dash list, you will see Ritesh 2 has the star. Again, if I do get checkout main, तो मैं वापस main पे आ जाऊंगा, right, and I'll again write get branch dash dash hyphen hyphen list, I'm in main branch, just switching those branch, ठीक, branch में file add कैसे करें, so let's say you are in a certain branch, right, you are in certain branch, let's say Ritesh 2, ठीक, तो अभी इस ब्रांच में जाके a branch named, oh my bad, I have to do git checkout, right, git checkout Ritesh 2, ठीक, तो I'm now in this branch, अभी मैं इस branch में I can go and change it, ठीक, you can understand यहाँ पे देख के कि which branch you are in, ठीक, so these things are something that you can play around, ये तीन piece of code I'll just let it be here, if for now main things are these 4 lines of code, right, और एक और छोटा सा कोड था to check the status, that was git status, again referring, ये pushing and pulling के process में it does not has any hand, all it does is it gives you a status कि क्या चल रहा है, that's all, ठीक, तो main codes are these 4 and this pull one, but if you want to check your status you can go with git status, इतना ध्यान रहेगा आज के लिए बस, everyone इतना ध्यान रहेगा। ठीक, एक बार ये हो जाए and you're able to add and retrieve those files, go for these few features also. ठीक, it's just in lecture, you know, it's after 1 hour, उसके बाद खोल के जरा 2 की स्पीड में देख सकते हैं। ठीक, of course I share these notes every time. I'll share a few class notes also so that you guys can refer it. ठीक है, those notes are good one, so I'll share. So should we always use GitHub after creating any code? How much this GitHub is important? This is important enough so that you should be able to delete these folders, right? इसको आप delete कर सको, and once you have deleted it, क्योंकि आपके PC में space नहीं था, you can go and retrieve that piece of code again, right? So that this thing is not permanently deleted. So I've deleted that. Abhi wo, it's in process. It has few many like codes, so it might take time. But if I go and try to git clone it, I should be able to access my piece of code. Delete permanently, right? So now that has been deleted, right? So let's say this PC was lost. I deleted that piece of code, but अभी मुझे फिर से उसको वापस लाना है. तो what was the codes? Do we remember it? Right? Should I do a git pull? No such file or directory. Very first time, right? So git clone and whatever URL we had. I mean, you guys have an idea कि क्या क्या करना है, right? To git clone that URL, if you have updated some changes, just go for these 3 piece of code. ठीक, so again, back to your question, Sharon, how much this git is important? This git is important to showcase what you have done so far. Right? So you write your piece of codes in VS Code. Is there any way where it shows ki on which day what code you have written, what work you have done? Your contribution history, if you want it that way, right? So let's say if I go in here and if I go for my branch, right? So it shows ki what contribution history is there on this account. Right? So these things are something that is important to your interviewers and all. All right. And plus, again, it's always good to have backup, right? So the same reason how much this GitHub is important is how much your Google Drive's ka photo folder is important to you. Like you want your code to be safe somewhere. This is that place. All right. Now let's say if I want to check what commits have been done, that version control thing. So you can visit your initial codes, right? So इसी वजह से we add these commits so that we know कि what changes we have made, right? So let's say I'm clicking on this one, I'll be able to access that file at that phase. So it's gonna show me कि what that original file looked like and finally what changes I made to that file. ठीक, so initially I had no product.js file, I added one product.js file. All right. ठीक, so guys, basic purpose of GitHub and these few piece of codes. इतने पे ही boil down होता है हमारा lecture आज का. Clear है? Everyone? When you'll push your code, I mean, this thing is gonna be piece of cake, right? If I write these piece of code today, no, it seems nothing. It all happens subconsciously. एक बार उसे 2-3 बार करोगे, it's gonna happen. सर हम गिट अकाउंट अपने मेल से बना सकते हैं क्या? Yes, you can, मृदुल. आप अपना अकाउंट बना सकते हो, but आपको you're gonna create account, right? That's for your sake. जिस तरीके से I have created this account, मसाई क्या करेगा? It's gonna give you a repo. वो अपना एक repo देंगे, like this one, right? So let's say I have this test repo. This one is given to me. You guys might have been given some piece of code, right? So if you want to see like a glimpse कि आगे चल के कोड कैसे हो सकते हैं, so these many piece of codes are there, right? So I mean these are testing codes, that does not matter, but हाँ एक idea. ठीक, how to find GitHub in any question related to how to not sure what you're asking, Sakshi. Any question related to particular question, like I'm not sure what you're referring to. Can you be a bit more clear? I mean, do you want to search repositories? You can search it here. You want questions on GitHub? मतलब GitHub के ऊपर question चाहिए आपको? Okay. Masai will form it. Masai will form it. Particular topics. Oh, you want questions on particular topics. So for that, you can just, I think there's this website. You can just write those topic names. So let's say JS variables, right? And if you want specific topics, no, you can write JS variables interview questions, right? So I'll show you website. It's a good one. So let me show you this interview bit one, right? So you'll get like around 10 to 20 topics based question. Like, so you can go for that. But abhi ke liye you get enough practice in your Masai, right? So for now, abhi ke liye go for your initial one. And also I'll just mention the website in chat and you guys can go and check it out, right? It based on topics and all. So interview bit. Right, the spelling might differ. Let me just get you guys that. Right. Yeah, this one is the link. ठीक है, people again, any doubts in GitHub and all? कैसे होता है, क्या होता है? No, right, that's great. Any doubts in these few lines of code? Again, once you have created your account, एक बार push pull करोगे, it's gonna be piece of cake, right? ठीक है, ठीक है. So someone asked me about that MD also, right? So we have few minutes, but let me just show you what that markdown and all does. So if I do markdown documentation, right, this one. So there's this cheat sheet. Yeah, here it is. So this markdown is basically there to give a bit representation. Okay, so that your file and all looks nice. Take, if you want to write documentation, you can go with these syntax. So you have three different heading tags. You can go with H1, H2, or H3. Let me show you once. So let's say I have a readme.md. मैंने यहाँ पे create कर रहा हूँ. If I go for this and I call it variables, right? Variables. So it's going to create a heading of these variables, right? Let's say I want subheadings in it. So I'm going to name it lit and I'm going to call it, let's say, constant on, right? And I mean, you can go and you can work around this, right? So if you want bold text, you can write this italicized and all. So yeah, I mean, it's again basic stuff. You don't need to learn much more about it, but you can write description using this. Chat, I'll share you guys a note, right? And in that note, I'll share these links, right? These few important links. Okay, so I'll share, I guess, I'll see if I can share those two notes. एक तो share कर दूंगा, which will have like descriptive representation, how you can access all of these stuff. And